Hi, I'm Stephanie, and I am talking about I chose to elaborate about my inequalities within the different socioeconomic classes, in particular accessing good educational opportunities within these different economic classes. The types of media that I chose chose to analyze was The Blind Side and Freedom Writers. In both of these movies, there's individuals that come from not so established economic backgrounds, and so they tend to have struggles within their education system. In The Blind Side, Big Mike was homeless, and he was brought in by a wealthy family, and he started going to this private school that he was not used to. The teachers didn't really get him, and it wasn't until a teacher stepped up and gave him a oral exam before they realized that he was actually obtaining the information. He just didn't know how to read at the same level. In Freedom Writers, they went to a school that was not the best educationally known school. So it wasn't until this teacher stepped up and finally found something that they were interested in and pretty much went above and beyond her duties to provide supplies and new books for these students to learn about the Holocaust, and it just made them appreciate her and appreciate school so much more. By the end of both of these movies, which by the way were true stories, they turned around their lives and accomplished things that they never even thought existed. In my paper, I went over some of the different aspects that are accompanied to the inequalities, which were the voucher programs and the funding, functional literacy, immigration, and the increasing diversity within these school systems. I talked about what politicians have done to try to better the educational system with with bills like No Child Left Behind and Race to the Top. I talked about things that have been on controversy with student testing. That has been a big issue within the school systems. Not every student is a good tester, and they don't understand the information, and then they're stressing about learning the information, and then the teachers have to still teach a whole quarter of information in only a two months time. So it's stressful on both the students and the teachers, and then the teachers get worn out. Another one is social promotion. Some feel that promoting self-worth in schools helps with students performing better. If you give them good feedback, then they're going to feel better about themselves. This can be an issue too, because some students just don't perform well, and then they're not getting that feedback, and then their self-worth goes down. Some of the pros and cons that I went over were with Common Core, having the same educational core, pretty much the same syllabus across the board throughout schools, so every state would be on the same page. The thing about this is, although standardized testing would be more accurate, and the cost would decrease because states wouldn't have to pay for test developmenting, the scoring, and the reporting, but also the kids would have to learn at a faster pace because they would have to make this deadline to learn this by this time. Another thing was increased government funding. Right now, schools are funded at a local level, but if the federal government was to increase their funding within the school systems, it would give all children across the country more equal educational opportunities. With that, though, that would add to a number of unfunded federal mandates, which are laws passed with no monetary support. Decisions at the local level are best serve the needs of students in the local level. And some argue that universal preschool would be too expensive to support, and that will take away funding from K through 12 grades. The parents would rather choose the free preschool over the private preschool, and that would put people out of work also. The last thing that I went over with pros and cons with some solutions are holding out or redshirting. This is more seen in colleges with athletics. You know, there's my first year in college volleyball, I was a redshirt. You hold them back a year and they don't play, so they're supposed to gain experience and the ability to play at the collegiate level. This is the same thing in school. You see it a lot in elementary school boys, where parents hold boys 5 and 6 years old back a year so they have extra year of life lessons pretty much under their belt before they go in, and they feel more mature, and they expect them to be on top of their class better because they're older and they should be more mature. There's some cons to that too, because parents tend to have to pay for an extra year of daycare, so that can cause more funding for the parents rather than going to school and not having to pay for that child care for that year. And also it says that red shirts are 1.89 times more likely to participate in extra educational programs, because they're not used to the socialization between other students in their and with their age level. Some of the Kendall Tech's concepts that I went over were the functional literacy, the the social promotion, the funding, and even the student testing and Common Core.
I'm going to eat my water bowl. There's a water bowl. Can I use a water bowl?